All right, everything's looking good. I'm about to grab the file for the gameplay for the millionth time. And yeah, all right, let's do this. Oh, God, this looks awful. All right, you ready, bro?
I sure am.
All right, we are live, everybody. I made a really big oopsie when it came to making when it came to adding in the gameplay. But let's get started. Welcome everybody to the E8 Hate Podcast. I am your boy Chasm Riff, and I'm here with our co-host, the one and only Atlas Onus. How you doing, bro? Welcome to the EA Hate stream.
Hey, what's up, guys? Remember to pay $9.99 to watch the rest of this stream. Anyways, we're back for the third episode, and we're hitting it hard with our first topic, I guess, pretty related to the stream.
Actually, if you want, bro, we can hop right on into the question of the day.
All right, let's do this. The question of the day for today's episode is, will all future games become free to play but with microtransactions? What do you guys feel? Do you think that's what most big game companies are leaning towards, or will things stay as they are with only, the games that we're used to having those, in-app purchases or those microtransactions, whatever format you're playing on? What do you guys think?
Hey, what's up, Derpku? Welcome to the stream. And yeah, that's a really good question to really start it off. Personally, I this is gonna I hate giving out these answers because I seem to be always in the yes/no boat when it comes to this stuff, but I kind of see that happening. But on the other hand, I think some companies are too afraid to hop onto that bandwagon. But I kind of do see it happening in the future where, hey, Fortnite, Apex Legends, and all these other games, they're raking in millions to billions of dollars for their companies. Some people may say, hey, that's better than anything I could make in a week, if you know what I'm saying. How do you feel
Yeah,
about
that's
that, bro?
very true. I mean, just by offering your games to the consumer and saying, hey, it's a quality game, $60, and then you have all these problems, you don't know. You'll have a bunch of negative feedback like we've seen in the past before with many games. But if
Right.
you go like this, most battle royale games have been going, hey, just play the game, and then if you like it, in addition to continuing to play it and support it, also financially support us by buying skins, weapons, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's the issue I have. If they do this, I have no issue with it. Hey, more free games to play, the better. My big gripe would kind of be. Oh wait, I was quiet on your end, bro.
Oh yeah, but it was cutting out on my end.
My bad. I'm trying to link in all the articles. So I forgot to do it. But I was basically what I was about to say was if I had to be completely honest, I'm fine with them going with that route because hey, more free games the better. Especially since Fortnite really isn't a bad game when you think about it. My only gripe would be if it is like you said, you could buy weapons along with the cosmetics. Because if you gotta buy weapons, then it's really essentially pay to win, even if it is a free to play game. Like if you want to be the guy who they don't want to spend that much money on a game, you're gonna be disadvantaged against the person who spent $30 on this brand new RPG that can one shot anybody from any distance.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I would rather see us have um, games that are free to play, and then those people that want to spend their money on those other things can. But if you're talking about weapons and pretty much pay to win, like you just said, then I'm against going that route.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just don't think there's like a right answer for
Yeah,
this.
it's all on your perspective on this topic, and then also, I think consumers will tend to agree with what we just stated. But I mean, if you're a company, you're gonna be like, trying to get the most money out of the situation, whether it is putting a big price tag on your game, or like you mentioned again, let's have the consumers pay for these in-game loot boxes, crates or whatever, so they can have an advantage over others who do not spend,
Oh,
and that is totally not okay.
absolutely, I agree there. Before we get right into like the nitty gritty part of things, we love to hear you guys' answers down below. If you got any questions about things, we're more than happy to answer them in the chat. And if you want to be on the show, just let us know, and we'll try to link up with you guys in the general chat for the Discord. But other than that, you want to just hop right on into the main topics of today?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to take over the first one?
Yeah. This is an article that I pulled out from guys. This one is by CCN. Don't get it mixed up with CNN, even though they both got like a very similar layout, oddly enough, when it comes to showing off the stock numbers. EA's Apex Legends gets insane 10 million players in 3 days. Can it become bigger than Fortnite? To answer that one, no, it cannot become bigger than Fortnite. I don't know why they wrote that. 2, EA really didn't have a hand in this game. It was actually Respawn. EA has control over Respawn. That is very true. But EA themselves didn't touch the game. But Apex Legends has, within 3 days, gained 10 million players. I believe by day 2, they actually had 8 million, which surpassed the rate of Fortnite. And this game also has increased EA's stocks, which have been dripping as of late. Atlas, you said that.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you. You haven't played this game yet, but you say you have seen gameplay of it. Looking at it and seeing how you're such a huge fan of Titanfall 2, I think it's only right for me to ask you this question: does this game look like it has a very promising future, or does it look like another reskin of a battle royale formula?
First of all, let me mention that I'm glad that you brought up the person's bias, whoever wrote this article. First of all, like you said, EA didn't make this game. They just own the company that made it. And second of all, it would be kind of insane for Apex to surpass Fortnite. If it's a standard battle royale game, based off of the little gameplay that I've seen, it doesn't seem so. It seems like it has some aspects of like, jumping around and stuff like Titanfall does. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. Right. So there we go. And as to the future of it, I don't think it's just another battle royale because of that, and then also because of just simply looking at the facts. 10 million people is a lot of people.
It is. I think that's why I asked that question of the day. I mean, that's why we came up with it, was that 10 million people is definitely easier to get when you got a free game versus everyone having to pay $30, $40, $60 for the game. Obviously, I think this game, because of what it provides, it could easily hit 10 million players, just not as fast as 3 days, obviously. All because of the fact that it's behind that free barrier entry versus the $60 you gotta pay to play it. Now you are absolutely right about how it's different than the typical battle royale. It also kind of reminds you of Overwatch in a sense that you got characters and their roles are very important if you want to have a very fluid functioning team. At the same time, it's not as stressful as Overwatch, where you need a healer on your team to keep the team momentum going. You need a tank. Nothing like that. It's just that if you play the right characters and everybody do their job, you have a much easier time winning versus everyone going out there and going balls deep with gunslinging, because not every character is made to play that way.
Right, exactly, and that's an important distinction to make, because most battle royale games, from what we've seen, is just the characters that you play as there's no inherent advantage. They just, if you want to make them look any different, you just buy skins for them, but there's no inherent advantage.
Yeah.
It's just based on your skill. And then otherwise, in this game, like you said, each character has specific qualities, characteristics, weapons, abilities, which is like Overwatch, also like Titans and Titanfall as well. So it's going to be interesting to play, and that's why it will have better longevity than some of these other battle royales have had.
Hell yeah, I really do enjoy it. I played it before. I kind of like the fact that it's not about. I mean, what I did like about Fortnite was it really was a true test of skill, quote unquote, in the sense that hey, you drop in, you grab some weapons, and you fight. Obviously, there is a level disparity. Like if you jump in, you get a pistol, like a great pistol, and the opponent you're fighting has full shields and a scar. We probably know who's gonna win that fight. It comes down to who builds better, who has better accuracy, who's better at moving around the map. That's the real skill of Fortnite. With this game, everybody cannot choose the same character based on the class. What happens is they'll have you go into the lobby. The three of you will be put in a certain order of how you get to select your characters. So it kind of forces you to understand other characters. Because let's say you played one character and you hop into a lobby with a rando and they just snipe your character. Now you're kind of screwed unless you know how to play the other people. So I do like that factor because it makes you have to diversify your playing style.
Yeah, you want to be with that math. I don't know how big the roster is, but you're gonna want to be familiar with, probably half of the characters on there,
Mm-hmm.
just in case your main
Mathematically speaking.
players that you use are already taken.
Yeah, mathematically speaking, there's 8 characters in the game, if I'm correct. 6 of them are already at the start. Of course, it's funny that the only cis white male in the game is behind the paywall, or you gotta grind to unlock them. But there's 8 characters in the game, if I'm correct. So mathematically speaking, you gotta be good with at least 3 of them, because if you're always dead last to pick, which is bad luck, that means there's a good chance that 2 out of your 3 characters could get sniped. Which, hey, you still got a third character to get good with. I like that formula a lot, and I hope a lot more games pay attention to detail instead of being Call of Duty and say, hey, grab a gun and shoot somebody until they die.
Exactly.
All right, we can move on to the next topic. And we kind of discussed this before the podcast. For anybody who's wondering why Disney's on the layout, it's because they're in the news today because the recent a recent earnings call with their investors. And apparently, the CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, has shared some interesting words about EA. In his words, he said that he believed that they have a good relationship with EA. He says, in quote, "We've had good relationships with some of those we're licensing to, notably EA in the relationship on the Star Wars properties, and we're probably going to stay on that side of the business and put our capital elsewhere." That's what he said. He said they're good at making movies, BS, and television, debatable, and theme parks, yeah, I'll give you that, and cruise ships and the like. We just never managed to demonstrate much skill on the publishing side of games. Yeah. We all heard about EA in the news, not just from here, but just in all kinds of media. They're always in the news with a bunch of drama. Particularly, a lot of it's been around the whole Star Wars IP with Battlefront 1 and 2. And a lot of us just thought that, EA has just been tanking when it came to the Star Wars formula. Atlas, we talked about this before, and viewers who are watching this. We thought EA was failing and disappointing Disney, but this earnings call says otherwise. Do you think this is legitimate, or they're just brown-nosing to the investors?
So yeah, we had discussed this before, and I believe the only legitimate reason is what you just stated, because Battlefront was horrible, man. I mean, both of them. The whole community has had issues with those games, and on top of the our first episode of this season, the delays with future games, and then other problems that they've been having. Like, yeah, it makes no sense why they'd be happy with them unless they're faking it, which it seems as if they are.
Yeah, I get you there. I also took off the the cover I had on my mic. Hopefully that was the issue I was having. I did put it on yesterday. I found it in my house. Hopefully there is no audio issues on your side. Hopefully not in the stream. But yeah, I hope you're right about them brown nosing to the investors. You did mention something interesting yesterday when we were talking about this, and I believe it's just that you said that there's a possibility that, hey, EA could possibly just be out of touch when it comes to their consumers. Same for Disney. You think there's any levels of truth behind that, or it's just big corporate nonsense?
So, I mean, I had mentioned that, but I'm just not sure anymore because to make a statement like that, you're either completely oblivious
Mm-hmm.
or you're just so greedy that it doesn't matter anymore. So I just don't know. Whatever the reason may be, it's either they are out of touch and they're just trying to put whatever out there to try to please their own interests, or like we stated, they just don't know what we want, and that's why they're making the mistakes that they're making.
I think I obviously I haven't run my own business before or anything like that, but I think what maybe is happening is when it comes to these earning calls, the theme I've noticed, and it comes from I've seen this happen with majority, not all. I cannot say all, but from majority of like transcripts or news feeds I've read about from earnings calls, whether for the podcast or not, is that a lot of people when it comes to these calls, they downplay the hell out of the bad things going on with the company. And it makes sense. You know, if Joe Schmo has like 30 shares in your company and these shares worth like $110, and you know, they hear that, oh hey, we're tanking bad this quarter and we're planning and like we may be tanking next quarter as well. Joe Schmo may try to you know, sell his stocks and bail before anything bad happens with the future of the company. So I noticed that a lot of companies like to downplay the negative side of things, but this doesn't seem like they are downplaying it. It seems like they're genuinely happy being with EA, and I don't know how I feel about that. You know, like if we downplay something, like let's say you got a C in class, you say, "Oh, I got a C in class, but you know I didn't get to study much because I had 2 other exams." That's how you downplay that C. If you were to say like, "Yeah, I got a C in class, the class is hard, and I don't see myself passing the course later on," those are 2 different things. With that in context, do you feel that changes your perspective on this, Atlas?
I don't know because regarding Disney in general, EA is only the one part, just the games. But they've been doing the same thing with movies, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
like we just said in the quote. You know, they say, yeah, we enjoy making good movies and TV. I'm like, I don't
Well,
know
no,
about that,
exactly,
Chief.
exactly, yeah. Like you just said, I like the person who wrote this article, including that in here.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, it looks like they're just, upplaying things because in reality, they suck.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Brown One? So Derp Q and Brown One both said they enjoy Apex Legends. I mean, that's good to hear. I enjoyed the
Yeah,
two.
that is good to hear. I would like to join you guys soon,
Yeah, I would. I hope that they do bring cross-platform play, which we will mention later on in the episode. I hope they bring cross-platform play for Apex Legends to all platforms, because right now I think it's only people of the same platform as you. But I don't know. I enjoyed the 2/3 games of playing with Brown One and how we got disconnected from the game, and how we had one Charhart McGee who was very selfish on our team, and he kind of got us all killed. Other than that, I really did enjoy the game. You want to take over the next topic, bruh? I think this is one you'll love to hop onto.
All right, sounds good. So this one's from Game Tyrant. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
really heard too much from this website, but so yeah, two NES games, 2 more NES games announced for the Switch. So we have Super Mario Bros. 2
Mm-hmm.
and Kirby's Adventure. I mean, I'm just waiting. I'm glad I'm hearing all this good news for the Switch because I'm waiting. When I get it eventually, everything will be on there. Like everything that I want to get will be on there. And I was always a very big fan of Kirby, so it's good news.
I mean, unpopular opinion. To a lot of people, it feels taken out of context, but I am glad I waited on buying a Switch. And the reason I'm glad for that is we're avoiding the rough waters of its initial launch. Yeah, there's a bunch of great games that came out. Yeah, there's a bunch of hype for it and a bunch of sales. But then we think about the nitty gritty stuff, the stuff that we enjoy, you and me. The Switch online subscription service has been bad, like god awful bad. And at first they said you can only use voice chat through a microphone and adapter through your phone and everything. That was beyond stupid. And even the library for their retro games, that has been very lackluster, as this article mentioned. Do you think I'm wrong for making that hot take about waiting out to buy the Switch, or am I kind of right about that?
Yeah, I think up till now it's turned out to be a good decision. And I mean, waiting out even more. I mean, as soon as I'm able to financially, I will buy it. It
Hell
doesn't
yeah.
seem there are too many big issues that they're having besides that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Switch has been hype. I mean, I'm not gonna ever deny Breath of the Wild, hype. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, hype. Splatoon 2. I started this channel when my first video uploaded was Splatoon 1, so you already know how I feel about that game. Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, and how they're going to bring out a new Pokemon game this year. I mean, Smash Bros. I mean, do we have to say anything else about Smash Bros? You already know how.
No, we do not. I'm like allergic to that topic.
Yeah, same here. But nonetheless, the Switch has done some good stuff. The properties of the Switch has been unique as hell. Like being able to play Dragon Ball FighterZ or Doom on the go, like that is incredible. I wish when I used to fly from here to school and back, I had a Switch. Damn sure would have made the flights more enjoyable. But hell, I mean, I'm excited for the Switch. You're excited for it. Anybody in the chat who has a Switch, do you guys think we're right for waiting out this long, or should we have bought one day one and jerked off to it?
Yeah, we definitely had. It's kind of ironic, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely had hyped it, and then we still don't have one, but we will soon, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rome wasn't built in one day. Remember that.
That's very true.
Hey, you should already know that, man. You're the Greek one.
Hey, man.
Your name was literally Atlas.
Hey, listen, man. Just leave it alone.
Okay. You know what? I'm looking forward to the next topic since we're talking about names. Oh man.
Fucking guy. Go. It's a fucking horrible.
You know my transitions
Anyways,
are great.
Go ahead.
You know my transitions are great, bro.
No, they suck. Go ahead.
No, that was great. That was A1. All right. Okay. Let me calm down.
Hey, listen. Next topic. No matter what we discuss about here, I'm gonna be like, since we're talking about Microsoft.
Fine. Well, since we were just talking about Nintendo, we have an article from Nintendo Life, and the way this article is written,
the fuck.
I swear to God, bro, did you not check the name of this article? It is written by Nintendo Life.
I just realized that, but it still has nothing to do with the article.
I have no clue why they wrote that then. Well, I guess because the game's coming out on the Switch, but what we're talking about is
I guess it's an oopsie.
It's an oopsie doopsie, as PewDiePie would say.
Exactly.
All right. Well, this is by Nintendo Life, and the article is new Mortal Kombat 11 characters possibly leaked thanks to Steam achievement list. So if anybody doesn't know, Steam is an online subscription. Not everybody can use Steam, and what I mean by that is, if you got a janky computer and you don't know anything about technology, don't play any games on Steam. Save yourself some heartache and save your opponents some laggy list matches. Just don't buy games on it until you got a top tier computer. But I digress. When it comes to the Steam achievement list, context to it is really hard to hack. It's really hard to fake the information there, and it's really hard, and it's kind of pointless for developers to throw red herrings into them. So that's very important for you guys to note. But when it came to the leaking of this information, the achievement list for MK11 has come out recently. And through the achievement list, you're able to see some code names for the achievements and how you got to get them criteria-wise. And a lot of them have character names. Here goes one right here. It says Trophy ID Perform. And this, what that means is, Trophy ID is the name of it. And it says perform 2 different fatalities with so-and-so. And based on the deciphering of it, the list goes like this. We have Kung Lao, Cassie Cage, Jade, Frost, Kodo Khan, Jackie, potentially Nimbus Terrafrost. There's 2 other, one for Cole, we don't know what that is. CET, don't know what that is, probably John Cena if I gotta be honest. And then there is the boy, Aaron Black. He is in the achievement list, which means that he's most likely gonna be in MK11. Atlas, we've been debating for the last 2, possibly 3 weeks on having MK11 news and what should be considered newsworthy here. When you're hearing about these leaks, bro, are you excited for the leaks? And also, what other characters would you like to see in Mortal Kombat 11? It could be from the franchise or from other information we heard out there in the public. What do you want to see, bro?
I mean, so you're obviously excited about Aaron Black.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious to say. I don't know. I'm just, because of the story from Mortal Kombat 10, I'm just excited to play as Raiden.
Oh yeah, evil Raiden, because he's been consumed by the darkness.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited for that
I don't
too.
know.
Hmm?
I think that's going to be interesting, and then seeing what clans are now formed, if they're the same ones, how multiplayer is going to go because of that. And yeah, these three characters, I believe it is, that we do not know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just getting the game, and I just haven't had a chance to play Mortal Kombat 10, so this will be really refreshing.
I thought you did have Mortal Kombat 10. We had that one stream where we
I,
played each other.
I no, I have it. I just haven't played it in a while, is what I said.
Oh, okay. Actually, funny enough, it has really good netcode. I played with Brown One, and we didn't really have any issues while playing. There was online practice mode we had issues, but actual fighting, it was as smooth as butter. Um, Before we go ahead, Derpku said his computer can handle Steam, and Brown One said that he'd be heated if ketchup and mustard are DLC. I agree with you, man. I can't agree with you about the ketchup and mustard part. If you're referring to the actual characters, you talk about condiments. I'll be even mad if mayo is on the DLC list. But I mean, I think we've heard rumors and things like that. We know Ronda Rousey is voicing Cassie Cage, I believe. We know that John Cena's been hinted to be in Mortal Kombat 11, and we also seen the whole joke about Ultra Instinct Shaggy being in MK11. I don't know. I think this is gonna be a really fun ride, especially when we look at how hype MKX was. It only makes more sense to put more hypeness into the game. We already seen Leatherface and crap. Why not add another crazy character?
I think it would be a ridiculous addition to have Shaggy, but I digress. I would still like to see him in the game.
Hell yeah! I mean, it'd be funny. They probably, I don't know if they can get sued or be DMCA'd for that. Like the whole meme is Shaggy having Ultra Instinct because of a Scooby Doo movie where he was actually brave and he kind of soloed a biker gang of 20 people by himself. But
yeah, I saw the clip.
Yeah, so that's where the Ultra Instinct part came out of. If they actually put him in the game, I wonder would that actually be like an infringement of intellectual property? Because like Ultra Instinct.
I mean, they can probably like finesse their way by calling it something else.
I mean, like the concept itself is I don't know if that's like copyrighted Ultra Instinct, but the person that's using it is different. Now we saw Ultra Instinct Goku. You know, that would obviously be an infringement, but I don't know how the Ultra Instinct part would work if he was in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I definitely understand. I mean, that itself is probably going to deter them from doing something.
Yeah.
Regarding DLC with Shaggy, but I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, Ed Boon was having fun with the idea. It's just they kind of have debunked the idea that Shaggy's gonna be in the game because a bunch of YouTubers were clickbaiting, saying like Shaggy confirmed for this game. Finally, we have proof that Shaggy's in the game. Shaggy's moveless, and it's just them playing a mod of MKX with Shaggy. Like, there's a bunch of craziness out there.
Yeah, no, that's all BS for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, when MK11 comes out, I'm very excited to, streaming the game, making some videos potentially, and I'm just happy to see that my boy Aaron Black is in the game. So now I got reasons to actually buy it. You heard me say that if he's not in this game, I will not buy it. Like you legit heard me say that.
You would. Get out of here.
Hey man, I almost had a heart attack when I saw him in the game. And then he's also one of the fan favorites. Sonic Fox, mained him when he played at Evo. So like yeah, he has titles under his belt. Aaron Black has been considered probably the poster boy for MKX because he's so unique. He's a gunslinger, and he's one of the newer characters for MKX that a lot of people generally like. Same for Kodo Khan and things like that. So those two characters make a ton of sense to have in it, as opposed to Freddy Krueger just magically coming back in for MK11. But
yeah, I found like the DLC characters
made no sense.
What's it called? Yeah, that's true. Also, but I mean the in game, like the characters that were actually related to the game were weird to play as. Like that one it was like this one giant character. I forgot what his name was. It might have been. I'm not sure.
He's with the little girl.
Really weird to play as. But I mean my favorite was Kung Lao, if you guys have played as him.
Oh,
really
Kung Lao was fun.
It really honestly is. The hat, like you can use it to like saw people or like pop it up in the air and set it as a trap. Really cool.
Here's the thing, I'm a big fan of Kung Jin. I like his playstyle with his woo woo stick, but I was surprised when I heard that he's actually kind of hated by the community. Same for
that's interesting.
Yeah, same for Jax's daughter. I forgot her name. The other female character from the story mode. Apparently he's hated, but it makes sense because
I
projectiles in
like.
NetherRealm games are hated.
I would say Jackie Briggs is definitely my favorite female character.
Hey, I mean, I think it's because I know why, because of her projectile game. In NetherRealm games,
Yeah,
it doesn't
that
matter.
that must
Hmm?
that must be like a common theme amongst the characters that I play as. I do like those objects that you either throw or projectiles.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way NetherRealm games are set up and the way they're played. Projectiles are kind of BS in a sense because it's really hard to counteract the projectile. Like you see a lot of people hate on, Green Arrow and whatnot, and it comes to the Injustice series because of his projectile game being BS. And same for who is it? Aquaman. Aquaman, because of his reach with his trident, that's also considered BS because projectiles and long reach really doesn't have a counter in these type of games. Now we're talking about Dragon Ball Fighters. You can just vanish behind them, guard cancel, do a crazy combo. Like you got answers in that way, but
Yeah,
in other realms, not really.
Yeah, that's true.
Bro, once said that Jackie Briggs is boring to play. You know what? You're kind of right, bro. I kind of got to agree with him. I like the characters who are kind of flashy.
I don't know. I just like her ultimate finish, and then there's all these different modes that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of her projectiles could be bullets, the other one is like a laser stun or some shit like that. Another one is missiles.
Yeah, I think that's what people hate. Like the fact that you could choose between a laser and a bullet. Before, like obviously you got to choose the preset before the match. But if you came in shooting bullets at somebody and all they could do is throw rocks at you, you already know who's at an advantage. But Deathstroke.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it all depends on what character you play in your play style as well.
Brown One mentioned Deathstroke. I forgot he's a big NRS fan, NetherRealm games. I heard that he's also going to be Sonic Fox when it comes to Evo this upcoming August. So I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you give him hell at Evo, and MK11, and every other NetherRealm game that he plays. You ready to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, definitely, and I think this is something you really wanted to mention, especially since you talked about it earlier.
I mean, you found it, so you can lead the discussion.
All right, so this one I'm really interested for since it looks like Nintendo and Xbox are doing a lot of great things. So Microsoft is preparing to bring Xbox Live to both major smartphone systems, whatever you want to call it, iOS and Android, and then also the Nintendo Switch. So wow, man, cross-platform play is really getting real.
Mm-hmm. I think the big one is the fact that they're promoting themselves on another console. I remember you told me that you don't know if this is real or not, and I told you it's confirmed that Microsoft is.
Yeah, that was really odd to me. Like a lot of people, I know this is the wrong mindset in my opinion to have, but they're just gonna be like, oh, I get the Xbox, let me just get the Switch and buy Xbox Live or whatever.
I mean, seeing that I just got off work about 2 hours ago, I will say this: you do have a bunch of dumbasses out there. Some people are just dumb as a box of rocks, and you can't help it. My argument to this is, if somebody's dumb enough to buy a Switch and buy Xbox Live thinking that this is the same thing, they deserve what they got coming to them.
Right.
You just can't buy, chocolate ice cream and say, oh, I'm allergic to chocolate, but I want ice cream, so this must be okay. Like, you can't do something like that.
I mean, those types of people are like the mechanical keyboard users, for real.
Hey, man, mechanical keyboards aren't bad, but they're the type of people to play Smash Bros. Melee and don't think there's anything wrong with the game. But no, I think the big... Well, on the serious note, I was pleasantly surprised to hear that Microsoft is branching out to their competitors, platform. Like, obviously, Microsoft and Nintendo have worked together. They made that ad to jab at Sony when they announced cross-platform play with the Switch and Wii U with the Xbox consoles for Minecraft, and also with the Fortnite ads. But, I mean, that's one thing, having cross-platform play between players. It's another thing to basically... cuck yourself down to your competitor by saying, yeah, you can have your app on here where people can check their friends and get messages and things like that, and also achievements on some other titles potentially on the Switch. I think that's a really big cuck move because, if you're playing the Switch, that means your Xbox ain't on. If your Xbox ain't on, you don't know who is online per se. If you got the Xbox app on your Switch, you can open up that app where maybe you get a drop notification, and maybe one of your friends will say nut, and you're like, all right, let me go pop open my Xbox and play some Fortnite. So yeah, do you think that's a really
Right.
smart
I
business
mean,
strategy?
I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
I say, you think that's a really smart business strategy, or like on Nintendo's side, or are they just being cut down?
By Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. I would say.
I mean, by Nintendo as well.
I would say it's a nice collaboration to see, but I just don't know the future of it. Like, are
Yeah.
people gonna be as dumb as this and just buy one console and say, "Hey, let's get Xbox Live on it"? I mean, it is definitely smart on Microsoft's end. I just don't know if it will backfire on them. Reading this quote from the article, it says Xbox Live is expanding from 400 million gaming devices and a reach of 68 million active players to 2 billion devices, and then most likely millions and millions of more players after that. So yeah, it's definitely going to bring in the revenue for them,
I'm,
and maybe it's worth it. Like maybe it's worth them saying, hey, let's if we'll get like 30 million new people that will purchase our console, and maybe we'll lose a few million to the Switch, but hey, I guess it's a win-win case scenario.
I don't know if it'll necessarily be their thought process. Derpku was right about Xbox trying to get themselves out there. Like they really are pushing. They're setting themselves up for the next gen, and I'm kind of happy to see that. Even though I'm bummed because I am a Xbox One gamer, so to hear them kind of like say, "Yeah, we're transitioning over already," kind of sucks. But Brown One is right that you kind of do need to have the console anyway and pay for online. So Nintendo may not care because you already got to have the subscription to use the Xbox app, which is true. You got to have an Xbox Live account to use the app, but you can still use it even if the
Oh, okay, so that's what I missed. I
yeah,
see.
like you can still use the Xbox app without having Xbox Live. Like my account, when I didn't renew my subscription, I was still able to open up the app and see my achievements and whatnot. But I don't know. I think ecosystem wise, the Xbox is smart. If they could branch out to all platforms, especially iOS, that was a bigger one for me instead of Nintendo. Because we all know that Apple doesn't play well with anybody. And Microsoft, whether Apple doesn't do gaming or not, Microsoft's still their competitor when it comes to technology. So to see that iOS is willing to put up with the Xbox app and allow for future mobile gaming achievements, that's a big surprise.
Yeah, I mean, let me strike my previous statement from the record. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, and I think it was because you were cutting out. I couldn't hear you. But yeah, if you have to have the console, then
I
it
mean,
really is no big deal.
I never mentioned that you got to have the console. That's something that Brown once said, so you can't blame the cutting out on me.
Okay, cool. So I have to switch over here. I mean, then there's really no reason for them not to do that. And then your comment on Apple as well. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they've ever tried anything like this ever before.
I mean, they can be considered worse than Sony in my. In what way do you mean, Derp Q? Like, are you talking about Sony versus Apple? I mean, are you talking about Apple versus Sony or Microsoft in their relations with things? Because honestly, I don't think that this generation. I think every company has made some boneheaded moves. Xbox's release, how that went down initially. The Switch was piggybacking off of the Wii U so much, and now the Switch is having issues with staying up to date with modern conveniences like the online service and whatnot. And then there's Sony. Sony was being very selfish with their ecosystem. They wanted to close themselves off from Nintendo and Microsoft. I think everybody had their oopsies.
Yeah, so it looks like Derpku is referring to Apple being worse than Sony.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Apple is worse than Sony. Like, I thought that's pretty self-explanatory. Apple never played nicely with anybody. They don't even like their own consumers. Like, why? If you've never seen this, Linus Tech Tips did a video where he talked about they bought a warranty for their already expensive $4,000 workstation from Apple. Even though they got the warranty, Apple refused to repair the product. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But I don't know.
Well, that's horrible. What was the reason that they gave, if you don't mind asking?
Here's the thing. The reasoning they gave was that if you tried, I believe they tried to I forgot exactly how it started, but long story short was that Apple wanted to send them the repair kit but you gotta pay extra money for such repair kit, almost to the point where it almost costs more than the actual product, the workstation itself. If you try to go to third-party retailers to get it fixed there, they gotta have an authorized third-party retailer license with Apple to repair it. And for some of them, they can actually lose their licensing if they repaired such a product. And on top of that, if let's say you got the products off of aftermarket, or you release the schematics for the workstation that Apple put out, Apple has actually tried to legally threaten companies and repair shops for doing stuff like that, because they don't want people to know that you can manually repair their own stuff. And that's kind of stupid, because it's not hard working with computers. I can attest to that. But Apple is just weird. They're very simple-minded when it comes to presenting things to the consumer. But when it comes to their legal battles, they are intricate. I'm actually afraid of Apple in every way possible when it comes to how they legally write things in fine print.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, my mind kind of hurts from explaining all that. But
yeah, so I mean, that's not a good company to work with if you're gonna.
They're gonna always succeed no matter what. People are gonna buy their products. I don't know how we went from talking about the Xbox app to talking about Apple's policies, but yeah, I guess that happened. I don't even know how we're gonna transition out of this, man. This is a weird one.
I mean, again, going back to Sony, them not playing well in the past. One article that I did mention to you, but we did not link here, and we're not really going to talk about it, is their move with the PS5 was seemingly forced by this, collaboration with Nintendo. So it could be an interesting future for Sony and them trying to, branch out if they ever decide to fully go, fully cross-platform. But we'll see, I guess.
I mean, you can hop into the next topic if that's the case, since we're already mentioning the console.
Right. So the PlayStation 5, it seems as if this is confirmed because everyone is hinting at it, will ship with backwards compatibility. So that means you're going to be able to have all these games. I'm not sure if they're going to be free or they're going to want you to pay for them again, for all the way from the first generation console up until now. And that's a huge library right there.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested in that. This article didn't mention it, and I'm disappointed that it didn't. But there's like a picture of the pad to show like how you can theoretically how this work, because it's supposed to be like a cloud streaming service that will allow it to happen, because which makes sense because the architecture inside the PlayStation has been different over time. So it would have been hard trying to code things for it. Like, I think people were amazed the fact that Xbox 360 was backwards compatible into one, and then eventually they did the Xbox original, because all that is different hardware and it's all different coding stuff. But I mean, it's funny because I think a Sony representative at one point mentioned that cloud gaming will be the end of modern gaming for everybody. Do you agree with that statement, honestly?
That is going to be the new norm?
Like, not just the new norm, but like that's going to be the entire future. Kind of like how we went from Blockbuster, where you could go to a Blockbuster, rent a DVD, buy a DVD there, and you're good. Now we got Netflix, or you could go to Walmart and just buy a Blu-ray there, and all these shops just closed down. Like, do you think that's somewhat valid, especially with everything happening with GameStop?
I wouldn't say they're far from hitting the mark with that statement. I don't know if it's going to be in the near future, but yeah, there's definitely a big uprise.
I mean, here's my thing about cloud streaming. I think we are far from it, and the reason I say this is because it's based on your internet. If you're doing cloud service, that means you're getting it from a server that allow you to stream the game. We see with the Game Pass right now with Xbox. You could download the game and you have the game access to you as long as the Game Pass is active on your account. They got that type of cloud service, and then you got the other one, which I think the Switch did, where you could just play the game through the cloud automatically. And if when you're done playing it, there's no data that's being saved onto your console per se. Nonetheless, you still need good internet to be efficient with this stuff. And seeing that the U.S. has some of the worst internet out there in all of the planet, and doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, you got people who are playing off of potato Wi-Fi. I just don't think we're gonna ever reach that point where everything's gonna be cloud streamed, because not everyone's gonna be able to play with the right type of internet.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. So I believe it might be like an uprising market in bigger cities in the United States,
Man, stop
but
lying,
also you don't think so?
bro.
Like,
Bruh, we're in Chicago right now. We got some of the worst internet in the country. Think about that. We're like
I mean, yeah,
we're in the
we're
fourth
an
biggest city in the country.
we're an exception though.
Mm, I think you're right. If anybody's from New York or California, just let us know down below how y'all internet is looking. But pretty bad here in Chicago, ISP wise.
Right. So yeah, I think Chicago's an exception, but in general, you are definitely correct. But maybe it'll be popular in the overseas markets, maybe because Japan and I believe South Korea have the best Wi-Fi in the world.
Lucky bastards.
So yeah, they definitely are lucky. But yeah, like I said, that's why I mentioned, maybe not in the near future, but possibly like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, it'll be definitely bigger.
I mean, it definitely depends on how shit goes down. Like we know about Google Fiber. I'm pretty sure people who are watching this know about Google Fiber.
Definitely.
They're trying to branch out to all over America. Giving out, I think, 1 TB of up and down speed. So basically, 1,000 gigabytes of high speed internet, or at least 100.
That's pretty much Ultra Instinct Wi-Fi right there.
It really is. And I remember my old coworker at my old job I worked. They mentioned that Google's trying to make everything cheaper. By doing that, they had to bring out cheap products, which will make competitors also bring down their product prices. We kind of seen that already. Like, Amazon is forcing everybody else's hand for crap, even though Amazon and Google aren't the same thing. But you get the analogy. The issue with Google Fiber was a lot of these cities are already being regulated by the ISP, internet service provider, and for Google Fiber to work, they got to actually get hold of the lines throughout the city to allow for Google Fiber to be implemented in. And when you got like Verizon holding this one city by hostage, or this one area generally by hostage, they obviously weren't gonna give that rights to Google Fiber, which will hurt their own market. So Google Fiber kind of is at a halt because they can't get access like that. So it's a bunch of political crap of why we can't get good internet, because good internet will require these companies to charge us even more money, and they know we're not going to pay an extra $100, $200 a month for good internet. So they're purposely, stifling our internet. So I don't think TLDR, I don't think cloud service is going to actually happen, and it's going to take over the world until Google takes over the planet.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely right about that. Google Fiber, like, it was such a massive topic in the news once they first announced it, and then a few months later, oh, nobody has it, or what's happening?
Yeah, only the rich bastards in Silicon Valley has Google Fiber.
Exactly. So you're definitely right about that. And if I could like sidetrack a little bit, what exclusive titles are you excited for?
What platform, or is just any platform in general?
On the PlayStation, but like, since it's going to be backwards compatible, like all the way from the first generation console. Is there any one in particular like that you're excited about?
I can't put my finger on just one. I'll give out at least 3. How about that?
All right, go ahead.
I think just the Infamous series. I'm a big fan of that. Thank God Sony got hacked when I was in grade school, because they gave me Infamous 1 for free, and I got to be introduced into a really great series. So that's one. If they somehow made backwards compatible with the PSP titles as well, which I think would be awesome, I'll have to say the God of War series, because there's like Chain of Sparta, Ghost of Sparta, Chains of Olympus, things like that. Games I haven't played before. I think that'd be cool. And 3, I think the Budokai Tenkaichi games would be awesome to play, because they are PS1 and PS2 games. So I think that would be cool to play on a PS5 in the future. Should I ask you that question, even though I know you're not a Sony guy?
No, yeah, definitely. That's why I actually searched all the exclusives on here.
I mean, like, the Budokai series isn't exclusive, but just the fact that they will be cross-compatible that way.
I'd say God of War.
Yeah, I mean, you could never go wrong with God of War, in my opinion.
Boy, boy, come over here, boy.
I mean, let's be honest, man. We all wish we were someone like Kratos, and the fact that every game he was always slaying, bruh. And I'm not talking about just monsters. And
That's very true. Yeah, I've seen gameplay of the game.
oh yeah, gameplay, gameplay. Yeah.
All right, come on, man. If you don't like goriness and all that stuff, it's definitely not for you. But hey, man, the more violence, the better.
Yeah, until everyone starts blaming video games for more mass shootings and then saying that hey, mental health isn't the root of any of this.
Yeah, until the World Health Organization announces it as a like disease or addiction or whatever they call it.
True. PS5 would be too strong for games past PS3. I mean, in terms of hardware, the PS5 would absolutely shit on the PS3, especially if the specs that we have on this article are right. I know that not everybody in the podcast is tech savvy, but I mean, I'm looking at the specs, and I think everything minus the amount of memory that's going to be in here is very doable at the $400 price range. And I say that because to get 16 gigabytes of DDR4, not even DDR6, DDR4 RAM as an average consumer, it costs over $100 easily, and that's for 2 sticks. If they were somehow to get 12 gigabyte sticks, like get a single stick, and be somewhat cheaper, I guess that means everything else is just gonna be absolutely crappy. But everything is custom made, and they're gonna be getting bulk shipments, so I can't judge that. But hey, if the console is shitting on the other ones, that means that's even better. That means that it's more than capable to handle backwards compatibility. Hell, it may mean that it can not only be backwards compatible, but it can run internet connectivity with these games. Like, think about that. You know, PS3, and you got PS3 Call of Duty World at War. You re-download it on your PS5, and now you can play World at War with your buddies who may still be on a PS3. Poor souls.
Hey, did you mention Yakuza?
Yakuza? No,
yeah, Yakuza 0. Did you mention?
Nope. That's another game your series you're looking into?
I've also just I've come across gameplay of it as well.
I mean, there's a bunch of crazy stuff out there. You got Jack and Dexter. You got Spyro.
Uncharted.
There's that. I'm not a big fan of Uncharted, but there is that. I mean, that's a personal thing. You got Little Big Planet. That's a really fun game series out there. Like I will never lie. You know, Sony has some great exclusives. It's gonna be interesting seeing how it's gonna be interesting seeing how the next game's gonna work.
I was almost a few years ago gonna get the PlayStation 4. I just didn't for whatever reason.
I'm not a big fan of all these console war craps. I know everyone has their preference and things like that. But when I see people, you know, going to war about which platform is better, or people, you know, debating with each other, I'm like, y'all are a bunch of dumbasses. Because these companies don't give a damn about your feelings. They care more about what you're paying for. Like, you can have an Xbox One and have like 3 games on it. That's completely different than the guy who has all the platforms and he has like 30 games for each one.
Yeah, that's very true. Crash wasn't an exclusive, was it?
It was until the Insane Trilogy came out for the Xbox. It wasn't technically an exclusive because there's been Crash games in the GameCube. It's the first time they branched out the way they have with the Crash series.
Right, since I remember playing Crash and I was like, wait, I didn't have a PlayStation at the time. Since I did have a PS2. So no, I remember, I played Crash on my GameCube.
Here's the thing. When I see Sony didn't play well, that's code word for it. They didn't play well with Microsoft. They have shared not exclusivity, but they have shared games with the Nintendo products. Like I said, Spyro and Crash has been on Nintendo platforms, not so much Xbox. But this is the first time, you know, these game developers are branching out to the Xbox and vice versa. I mean, it's
man.
It's gonna be an interesting ride. I can't deny that. I don't know I don't know what to expect for next gen. I think we're gonna be in for a ride. We're probably gonna be spending a shit ton of money with all these subscription fees and services coming out there.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I mean, we'll see. You got anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. I'm definitely excited for the future of, you know, consoles and games and everything.
Hell yeah. I want to thank everybody for watching this. If that's the case, be sure to answer the question down below. We got it right here on the screen. I forgot to mention, with the Xbox Live article, they said that they'll be implementing achievements for the smartphones. We talked about this last week. Smartphone gaming is still strong as hell. Do you really think that Microsoft is trying to branch out that much to where they're trying to control that market too?
I'm gonna give the same answer that I gave for the Switch. Hell no. Or for Nintendo, hell no. I mean, why? I understand the amount of profit that you can make simply because more people have access and own smartphones instead of consoles. But if you have, a good marketing strategy and a good product, then why would you?
I mean, we've seen Fortnite branch out to Fortnite Mobile. Well, it does help that Epic owns the engine that it runs, Fortnite on. But I mean, it's like the question of the day. Will all games be free in the future with microtransactions? Seeing that Microsoft's implementing achievements to potentially Candy Crush, I mean, it seems like they are trying to branch out there. I personally don't want to see the smartphone market take over, but I'll be a hypocrite saying that because I know how much I play Pokemon Go and how other people play, these gacha games. But hell, whatever keeps these companies afloat, which could potentially help the rest of the gaming market.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And my answer could have come out the same biased, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, the third comeback for the Ethernet connection, the same Ethernet connection that the Switch users are missing when they're playing games on the Switch. Yeah, if you got a Switch, you should probably buy Ethernet cable, people. It's the same thing you'll do for any other platform. But I mean,
I'm a Wi-Fi warrior.
Yeah, you are. I mean, there's at least you own up to it. Some people, they refuse to admit it. But I mean, if that's the case, I'm just gonna post this right up here. I geniusly put in the time card ending to the end of the stream right here. So yeah, guys, here goes the social medias. Here goes the like button and subscription button. You guys can definitely press that. Check out the merchandise store. We got some good stuff there. And if we get enough sales, I'll have more products coming out there. Hey, Atlas, you want to know what idea I have? Yeah.
Nah.
You don't want to know?
Wait, what?
It'd be interesting. What if there was a Press Start podcast, our first ever logo, the layout for the thumbnail? What if that was a t-shirt? Huh.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Wow, that's so anticlimactic. That's pretty basic. Like, I know you purposely did that on purpose. Well, whatever, guys. We're about to get out of here. I'm done with this clown. I'm about to get out of here and play some EA games and hopefully get invited to Super Bowl. Let's do it, guys. You ready? Yeah, Michael. I put in the Discord that it started at 4 p.m., bruh.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah, hi. You at least got acknowledged in the outro, whatever words. You ready to get out of here, bruh?
Definitely.
All right, guys. We're getting out of here. I'm so done with the day. So, yes, we'll see everybody later. The gate's full of open. I guess I gotta go close them, and I'm gonna be making changes to the Discord for tomorrow. So, bye.